What is up, everybody? Purple and Gold podcast for Thursday, August 13th. Not a topic I thought we would be discussing on this lovely Thursday morning. Jayden Daniels and his representatives have sent LSU Athletic Director Verge Osbury a cease and desist letter to not use his name, image, or likeness anymore relative to LSU. And he has a statement in which he says he feels profoundly disrespected by the fact that his number was given to another player. So what is the context of all of this? Well, if you remember, on the first day of fall practice, sophomore cornerback DJ Pickett switched from number 3, which he wore last year, to number 5. And when Lane Kiffin was asked about it in his media availability after the first practice, he said that number 5 was promised to DJ Pickett by the previous staff, Brian Kelly, and that he did the research and was comfortable with the fact that the number meant a lot to him and his family, and so he was going to honor the promise that was made. ESPN's Mark Schlabach reached out to Brian Kelly after this incident here with Jayden Daniels, and Brian Kelly said he didn't feel comfortable honoring the promise last year because, quote unquote, the Heisman winner wasn't on board. So, in essence, Brian Kelly and whoever on Brian Kelly's staff promised DJ Pickett this number created a mess for Lane Kiffin and his staff. So let me take a look at this from all sides, and then I'll give you my opinion. First of all, LSU has a policy that they don't retire numbers, they retire jerseys. Billy Cannon is the only number 20, which is actually physically retired. Now, no one has worn 9, and up until DJ Pickett, no one had worn 5. But if you're ever in Tiger Stadium and you see the Ring of Honor, or whatever you want to call that, Tommy Casanova, 37, Y.A. Tittle, they're going to retire Burt Jones's number 7. During the Texas game this year, Charles Alexander's number 4, but obviously those numbers aren't retired. The game they retired Charles Alexander's number 4, Mansour Delane was wearing that number. We know about the number 7 tradition. We know about all the people who've worn 7. DJ Pickett, for crying out loud, was wearing 3 last year. That's Kevin Falk's number, or was Kevin Falk's number. So LSU has a 5-year policy in which they say you have to have been gone 5 years in order for your jersey to be retired. I think that's silly. I think you could have easily retired Joe Burrow's number 9 and Jayden Daniels' number 5 on the spot as Heisman Trophy winners. You could have installed statues of them next to the statue of Dr. Billy Cannon on the west side of the stadium, and this would have all been over and done. There would have been no number 5 to promise to DJ Pickett. However, this feels very beneath a big-time NFL quarterback to me. And I believe Jayden Daniels' mom and others may be behind this. I'm not going to comment, and I'm not going to use this platform to comment about someone's mother or people around them and their motives, especially when I'm not in that inner circle. But I think Jayden Daniels has always given off the vibe of a cool cat, a guy who doesn't really seem to be profoundly disrespected by something like this. This feels like it's coming from somewhere else. This is a real bummer. It's going to create division. It's already on X creating some division. I've seen some people say, hey, I hope Jayden Daniels stays healthy, but, my days of rooting for Jayden Daniels are over. And I'm not necessarily in that camp. I think this creates a lot of division because when you compare Jayden Daniels to Joe Burrow, which inevitably is going to happen, they're 2 recent Heisman Trophy winners, 2 quarterbacks, both at LSU, both playing in the NFL. There's a comparison to be made for the time spent at LSU. They both spent 2 seasons. There's a comparison to be made on the success that both had. Joe Burrow's team won a national championship. Jayden Daniels' team did not. Jayden Daniels' team didn't win the national championship because Matt House and LSU's defense was statistically and historically the worst defense in the history of the school. And there's a racial component to this, too, that inevitably will, be an undertone to this, right? We didn't promise anybody number 9, but we promised somebody number 5. Now, I want to say this point blank. I am not against people wearing numbers of famous players. You want to give out 72? I don't care. I know Glenn Dorsey wore 72. You want to give out 3? I don't care. I saw with my own 2 eyes what Kevin Falk did wearing number 3. I might have a favorite player. You might have a favorite player. And that number may have been eclipsed by someone else. But in your mind, when you see that number, when you see LSU player in that number, you think about that player, right? It may, it may have been, it may be somebody that passed away, right? You'll never think of a number 31 on LSU's base. That it's not, nobody's going to wear 31, but you get what I'm saying. You're always going to think about Wally Pontiff. There are just certain numbers that go along with players, whether it be success, whether it be tragedy, whether it be your own personal feelings. Maybe you were a young kid in Tiger Stadium when DJ Chark ran the punt back to help him beat Auburn, and so your number 7 is DJ Chark, but everybody else's number 7 might be Burt Jones or Patrick Peterson or Tyrann Mathieu. You get my point. It's a number, people. And everybody in this thing is wrong. Brian Kelly and the staff were wrong to promise this. I think in some ways DJ Pickett is wrong for pushing so hard for it. I think Jayden Daniels and his people are wrong for being against it, and I think LSU's policy in certain instances needs to be amended. I hope that what comes out of this is LSU will reach out to Jayden Daniels, maybe Jeff Landry, maybe Verge Osbury, maybe other people can go about the business of mending this fence, and maybe there should be some expedited statement from LSU that they are going to build statues for Joe Burrow and Jayden Daniels, and that they are going to plan to retire both of those numbers since Billy Cannon's is already retired. I think that would go a long way. And so what you could then do is DJ Pickett could be the last person to wear number 5. Make no mistake about it, this is Brian Kelly and that staff's cross to bear. They promised the kid the number. Apparently, Lane Kiffin did the research. There is meaning to why DJ Pickett and his family want to wear the number. If Lane Kiffin's good with it, I'm good with it. I wish Jayden Daniels didn't do this. As I said, I feel like this is beneath a big-time NFL quarterback. I don't know. I assume Josh Allen wore 17 at Wyoming. I don't think Josh Allen cares if anybody's wearing 17 at Wyoming. Whatever, right? If Peyton Manning wore 16 at Tennessee or whatever he wore, I don't think those kinds of athletes in big time situations with big time contracts with popular platforms, I just don't think this is the right path to take. Now, if he felt disrespected by this, and he wanted to reach out to Brian Kelly, or he wanted to reach out to some folks at LSU, to reach out to Lane, that would have been okay, I think, behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, it's just a real bummer. It just creates a lot of division. It creates a distraction in the LSU community that, quite frankly, we don't need. We're finally in alignment, right? We have Jay Johnson. We have Kim Mulkey. We have Will Wade. We have Lane Kiffin. We have Jay Clark. This is a great time. It's always a great time to be an LSU Tiger, but this is a great time to be an LSU Tiger. And Jayden Daniels is one of the greatest players to ever play, and I'll never forget him putting an entire Florida defense on skates for 3 hours in Tiger Stadium. And I won't forget Jayden Daniels keeping LSU in game after game after game when they couldn't stop anybody from scoring and couldn't get off the field on third down, and Jayden had to keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And I'm still going to root for Jayden Daniels in the NFL, and I hope that this will get rectified in the proper way. And again, I've got the solution. If LSU or anybody is listening to this, the solution is just waive the 5 years when someone does something extraordinary like winning a Heisman Trophy, and maybe go ahead and just do Joe Burrow and Jayden Daniels together, build the statues, retire the numbers, reach out, mend the fence. That'll do it for today. I hope everybody has a great day. Try to stay cool out there. It's awfully hot outside today. As always, be good to one another. This is just another example of that. Always boot up, and always, always, always go Tigers.